Welcome to my updated craft studio tour. Hey y'all, I'm Elisa, the Scrappy Wife behind ScrappyWife.com, and today I'm excited to take you around on a tour of my updated craft room. I have been down in the basement of my home as my craft space, as my workspace since the fall of 2022, so about a year and a half. And in that time, the nature of the business that I run out of this space has changed ever so slightly. There have been some adaptations that I have made, and I would love to show you some of those updates and give you a few insights into how my craft space functions. I'm hoping that it will inspire you in how you organize your space. To me, organization sparks creativity. It is one of those things that if I walk down here and everything is in its place, it's visually stimulating, then it's going to inspire me to be more creative and more crafty. And that is the goal of the creative space. So we're going to go around and take a look at the ins and outs of this space. If you see something that you're wondering where I got it, what's the link, let me know down in the comments below, and I will start adding all of those links into the description box so you can check for those. All right, let's go. All right, so like I said, my current craft room is down here in the basement of my home. I have been down here since the fall of 2022. I was in a spare bedroom upstairs, and then as my business grew and I just needed a little bit more space, then we renovated this basement to make it work for all of the needs of my YouTube channel, Patreon, and growing business. So it is definitely a working craft room. It is one that I spend many hours a day in, and I absolutely love this space. It makes me so happy. And there's lots of great little corners and spots and zones that I cannot wait to share with you. Starting over here is my coffee bar situation, because I think having a coffee maker pretty vital in my crafting ability. So that's for sure. So I have my coffee maker over here, different mugs that are fun and inspiring, even a tiny little refrigerator. And that's also where I have my overflow books and planner covers that I love, that I'm not ready to get rid of, but I just keep them over there, a few extra bags, things like that. Then we have what is called my Harry Potter closet. It is literally the closet under the stairs. It actually doesn't look so bad right now. It has some extra containers that I am working through right now, some extra storage for our family. So that one's not so glamorous in there, but it is a little extra storage in this space. Then we move on to my work desk. This is where I do computer work. It's where I do all of the editing for my videos. I picked up this desk at Home Goods. It actually fits perfectly in this little nook. It feels very cozy over here. And I love having the smaller area to just work on just computer work. That way I'm able to separate my crafty work from my other business work, which I think is kind of important. So if you share a space, your office space and your craft space, I like to create kind of zones so that my brain can focus in on, now is this work time, now is the creating time, and I like to really focus in those areas. That just helps my brain wrap itself around what is being done. So that's where my laptop is. I have my planner sitting right next to me. Right here, this is my faith planning cart. I actually end up moving it over to the chairs first thing in the morning so I can sit and do my quiet time. So I have all of my faith goodies in there, but that zone works really well for how I like to function and edit my videos. This area is a newer addition to my craft room. This is where I have a lot of my inventory. Just this past year, I started creating product, designing planner inserts and covers and fun things to help you organize your life in a creative way for your planner. And I needed a place to store inventory. So I brought in this teal shelf, because why not get a teal shelf? If you're going to have fun inventory, why not have a fun color shelf? So bought this from Wayfair. It works really well. And then I have these different bookcases from IKEA. This is where I keep finished projects like old scrapbooks and things like that, kind of memory keeping projects, I had to kind of condense it because my inventory has started to overflow into these bookshelves or cabinets as well. And then up here, I have one of those mail slot dividers. I think this one is actually from Amazon. People use them a lot in their classrooms, and I love using it for organizing dividers that I have for sale over in my shop. Obviously, lots of room to expand over here. And then right in this area, I have all of my product samples. So the ones that I pull from to use for custom planner spreads or to use in my own planner, I have them organized right here. So this is almost like some of my extra filler paper, if you will, but these are all my own products. So I keep it all organized in this area. I have one other bookshelf that is full of inventory, and I'm hoping it's not going to expand too much more. It does start to take up a lot of space when you have inventory and things like that, but I'm loving this new facet of my business. So having a way to organize that stuff was really important to me as I started bringing it in and adding it to my craft room. This is my Glowforge Pro. I purchased this when I moved down to this craft space. This is a laser cutting and engraving machine. It is pretty remarkable. You can do some amazing things with it. I use it frequently to create happy mail for my patrons. It does some great things. It's going to cut wood and metal, or it doesn't cut metal. It engraves metal. It cuts through acrylics. I'm pretty amazed with it, and I have been learning about it for a year and a half, and there's still so much to learn to do. So this actually has to vent to the outside. So the way that happens is we have this venting tube right here that goes into this cabinet. The hole is cut in the cabinet, and you can see I have a little sign that's blocking as the tube goes across. Then it comes out of the cabinet over here and through what is basically a dryer vent that goes outside of my house. Like I said, the visual nature of my craft room is really important to me. I like things to be organized. I did not want a lot of extra tubes and things showing even with this machine. So that was a great solution that my husband and my neighbor came up with to kind of hide that. And then that just vents to the outside when I am working with the Glowforge. So works really well. And I'm always excited to get to work with this amazing machine. You may have noticed this board behind me. I love this frame. I actually found this picture frame in the trash. A neighbor at our old townhouse had it out in the trash. I picked it up, have repainted it a few times, and then added chicken wire to the back of it. So now it serves as a big bulletin board, and it is my Patreon gratitude board. So all of these amazing people have been patrons this year. My gratitude board actually extends over here, and this is for me a very tangible, visible way to remind myself of just how lucky I am to have such an amazing crafty community surrounding me. So every time someone joins over on Patreon, then they get a little person on the board, and I love seeing all of these faces. Look at that just amazing grouping of people. It's so fun, and this is directly across from my normal workspace, so I see it every day, many, many times a day, and it's pretty special to me. Very few craft rooms only serve one purpose. Most of our creative spaces are multi-purpose spaces, whether you are in your dining room, in your living room, in a corner of your bedroom, or in this case, this area also serves as our guest room in our house. So in order to make that function for the majority of the year when it's just me down here and still be comfortable for guests when they come, we purchased this right here. This is a Murphy bed. This is a different style Murphy bed. Instead of the ones that completely fold up against the wall, we were unable to get one of those because of this soffit right here. It just didn't have the room. So we got this one from Wayfair, and it's pretty cool. You flip this open and then you unhook some of these right here, and the whole thing folds down. The mattress folds out. It's pretty remarkable and pretty comfortable from what I've heard. Otherwise, it just looks like a piece of furniture, which I really appreciate, not having to have the full on bed all the time, but it is allows us to turn this whole space into a guest room when we have family and friends come to visit, which I think is pretty amazing. So this is one of the key parts to making my space work for our family and still work for my crafting and creative space. Then over in this direction, we have some sticker overflow storage. These are the stickers from some of the small companies that I work with. Live Love Posh and Kelva Plan, Wrong, Planny Things, some of the businesses that I've been working with, we have all of those stickers over here so I can grab for them easily. I can bring in when they send me new products, new releases. I have a space for it to go. All of these containers are from Target. They are not quite big enough for the oversized sticker books that we often see from smaller companies, but I don't mind storing them at the diagonal because these are much cheaper than some of the other storage solutions that I've seen. So I'll take $4 or $5 for this as opposed to $12 a piece for a different size bin. This works really well for me. As I've said many a times, I'm definitely a visual person, and it's always been important for me to display things that inspire me in my creative space, which is what these two shelves serve their purpose in doing that. These are picture ledges from IKEA. I have used these in multiple places in my craft room for years, and in this time they are holding all of those books that I think are beautiful and, like I said, inspiring, just books that I love to look at and dig into, and it's nice to have a special place in my craft studio just for those. Another new addition to my craft room this year is this kitchen island. This is a Wayfair kitchen island, and it serves as my shipping station. So I'm able to package and ship any orders right here. I have this drawer, which holds all of my shipping labels, things like that, my thank you notes, stamps, all of those goodies. All of the different packaging options are down below, organized into some different bins. Then I have these bags. This is how I transport things to and from the post office in the cutest way possible. And then over here, this cart is also my kind of mobile shipping cart. It holds my printer, my scale, all the labels. I have different packaging options down here for as new inserts come, and I'm actually putting them together in the full packages. And then this is usually full with custom planner spreads that I work on throughout the month, but I just ship those out. So as of right now, it's a little bit empty, but it fills up every month as I create custom planner spreads for my Patreon members and get them ready to ship out. No matter what size space you are working with, it's always important to have zones. So for me, I have my crafting zone over on this side of the studio. Then I have my shipping zone. This tends to be inventory for the most part. And then this is also my kind of unwinding zone. Those are where the nice comfy chairs are and things like that. That's where I curl up in the morning for quiet time, or maybe kind of curl up with my computer. That's kind of a different feel than the crafting and creating zone. And then of course, we already talked about the work zone. Now, even within those larger zones, I have some smaller little pockets of places where I keep like supplies. And no matter the size of your space, it's important to keep those like supplies, create those little zones that will help you be more efficient in your crafting and be able to find the things you're looking for a little bit easier. All right, we are going to continue just working our way around the craft studio. Over here, I have that fun sign that my father actually found for me at a thrift vintage store one time, and I love it. I've had it ever since. This is my television. It is one of those amazing, remarkable frame TVs that just looks like regular artwork when you're not using it. And then I have an electric fireplace because I am in the basement in Northern Virginia and it does get cold down here. So my parents actually gifted this to me when they moved from the area. And this allows me to have a little fireplace action when needed. It also has some extra storage where I have some different office supplies, kind of some of the boring stuff under here. There's my laminator, some different notebooks, things like that. And then on this side, I have some more packaging materials, some overflow, different things that I maybe am not currently using right now, but kind of fit in the office supply category. So away and hidden, because those are not the fun things that we like to see all the time, but a really functional piece for me in multiple ways. All right, now we are getting into the really kind of guts of my craft studio. This is where all of the fun stuff, I say, is stored and organized, and I'm gonna bring you guys along. Let's kind of dig in. Let's start over here with this closet. This closet was built in. It was already here. When we moved into this house, it did not ever have doors, so it was just an open space, and I added in these shelves, this countertop that is cut out and installed in this area. It is a butcher block countertop because that really felt like the most affordable option. And I loved the fact that the wood kind of warmed up the entire space. I like white furniture. I like a bright, colorful craft room, but the wood butcher block helped warm up the space in general, which was also pretty important to me as I was designing this space. Here's a look at this closet as a whole. Those create letters are actually from Michael's from years and years ago. And let's dive in. So on my top shelf in the closet, these are all of my old and spare happy planners. So we have former planners, we have happy notes, all of the different things live up here. Yes, I have a lot of planners, and no, I am not sorry about it. Then we have some of my out of sight, out of mind storage, projects to do, and seasonal pieces that can come and go as needed. As you work your way down to the second shelf, this is some Patreon work. Those are future Create books and Happy Mail sticker sets that are ready to go out to patrons. And then some functional office storage right here. Your paper clips and your staples and the binder rings and the tape, all of those things. I love having them at eye level so I can get to them easily. I don't have to search. And then we keep going into some other fun goodies. So I have all of my bonus pencil bags that I love to use, different storage bags. Those are right in this box. We have collage pieces, old magazines, all organized within these home edit bins. These bins are pretty key because I do a lot of different types of crafting, and this contains a certain type of craft and allows me to pull it out easily when I'm ready to work in that medium. Or with that media. So we have all of the collage pieces, the tissue papers, all of that business stored right here in these very stackable bins. And then this is where I have my smaller paper pads, 6x8, 6x6, all of that goodness. Then you go down, this is the bottom shelf. This is where I store my 12x12 paper in these plastic envelope sleeves. This has worked for me for years and years. I have them organized on pot lid holders. What this does is allow me to keep collections together. For instance, Kelly Bangs, Let's Get Crafty has a bunch of all of the goodies all together, and I can just pull out that whole collection to work with, and I know it's going to be organized. The pot lid holders keep them so that they all don't collapse and fall over when I pull just one out, if I was just using bookends or something like that. So that works super well. And then we continue on with even more paper. So we have some of the solid cardstock, a few more paper pads, and then some scrap paper right here. This is a fun way to store scrap paper in dry erase pockets from the Dollar Tree. Check it out. It works really well. And then I use a lot of different kinds of printer paper for my business, for my Patreon, and for my crafting. So all of my paper organized in one of those same mail slot systems that you saw before, this time stored horizontally. And that is really working for me because it's right next to my two printers. I do have two different printers, both Epson printers that are the EcoTank style. I love that. It has been a huge savings on ink for me. I have one on a separate printer stand down there with some spare paper, and then one tucked in on the base shelf, including my laminator back there, some hole punch, disc punch systems, and then 2 out of 4 of my Cricuts are stored on this countertop. What I love about this is that I was able to put wheels on the bottom of these Cricuts so that they roll out very easily. That way I can roll them out as I'm cutting because they need space behind them. And then when I'm done, I can tuck it away right back here. Super functional, and it doesn't kind of jostle the machine too much. Underneath my butcher block countertop that I installed in the closet are 3 Alex drawer units, 1 of the skinnier units, and then 2 of the rolling units that work really well for me. So let's just do a quick dive. We won't go too much. This is where I hold all the different printables and pieces from Illustrated Faith that I use. And then I like to store my paper ephemera in these drawers. I am a fan of things without lids. So I use all of these small little containers. Again, we're talking the Home Edit and the Bright Room collection. These are actually Bright Room from Target. They store my different ephemera collections. And then we have ephemera stored by color and then a few additional collections in there. As we go down, this is all going to be paper. So this is additional collage paper, some of them that don't fit in the bins above, some different journaling cards, things like that I use for various junk journaling projects. Marbled paper that I created myself in Italy, and then what I call fancy papers, which are going to be some of the rub-ons and fancy tissue papers from places like Tim Holtz and Jane Davenport. So this particular Alex drawer unit is all about paper and paper pieces, and that is one of those zones that I was talking about earlier, so I know where to go look when I'm looking for a particular paper product. Then as we dig into this middle drawer, this is very functional, very tool-based. So up here, all of the different adhesives that I use, including glue and hot glue, the Tombos. We have some whiteout in here as well. So lots of different adhesive options. As we work our way down, these are some punches. Again, I continue to use all kinds of bins within drawers because it just helps keep things organized and from just sliding all over the place. Next is We Are Memory Keepers, also some overflow adhesive because I just got in a big shipment, but some specialty We Are Memory Keepers tools, including the bookbinding tool, my Crocodile punch, some of the big pieces that I have. Cutting tools, this is where I have my cutting board, a few different options for cutting boards, and then these are some extra cards, just those cards that you kind of want to be able to have and grab at different points. So I have those all organized in that bottom drawer. I have been working a lot on cleaning and organizing my room recently, and I think something that's really important is to have some empty spaces. So I actually have a couple of different empty drawers within this Alex unit that I have over on the right. That way, when I have new hobbies, when I want to try new things, I have a place for them to belong. Then we have a diamond art drawer for diamond art pieces that I am working on, jewelry and beads all in their own drawer. Wax, resin, and clay. And last but not least, some extra notebooks, little bags, things like that, that I'm used for various projects or that I've just had for a really long time and I'm not ready to go, I'm not ready to part with. So you can see all of it is clearly labeled. I love being able to put the labels right here in this little indentation on the IKEA pieces. I think that works really well for being able to see, but not being like in your face with all of the labels. All right, let's venture in a little deeper into Cricut World. These are my other 2 Cricuts. I have 2 Cricut Makers and 2 Cricut Explorers. Why do I have so many Cricuts? Well, I cut a lot of stickers. I cut at least 200 sticker sheets every month, usually more. And so having more Cricuts allows me to just get that done faster. This cart has been working so well. It's actually from Craft It. I will try to link it. It is from Amazon. All of my Cricut tools all in one place, you guys. Different blades, spatulas, all of my weeding tools, and then the different pens, all organized in one place, super easy. A second Cricut Explorer, and then a place for additional pieces. So I have a vinyl scrap bin that I go to first when I'm working with vinyl, some extra chipboard and leather and felt, things like that, and then some bonus paper pads for a special project that I was working on. And then probably one of my most creative storage solutions is this piece right here. This is my vinyl storage. It is made out of a vintage ladder and I absolutely love it. My husband helped me rework it, adding the acrylic pieces to hold the vinyl in place. And to me, it's a fun way to display a very colorful supply. It takes use of vertical space, which is vitally important to really maximize the room in your craft space, no matter how big it is. And I just think it's a fun, very efficient way to store your vinyl because it is so close to the wall. It's not taking up a ton of room, but I can still see everything that I have. Next up is my cabinetry wall. This was a dream of mine to have some built-in cabinetry. We actually chose stock cabinetry. This is from Lowe's. You can just buy the pieces, install it yourself. I chose that because it ended up being a much cheaper option than going with IKEA or having custom cabinetry put in. These work fantastic. So I designed this whole setup myself. Let me give you a quick rundown on where everything is in these cabinets, how I like to organize it, because it's always fun to kind of get a sneak peek of what is in everyone's crafting drawers. This area over here is my stamping zone. Remember how we talked about zones earlier? I think it's really important. So in this particular cabinet is where I have all of my acrylic stamps. There are some that still need to be organized. I keep them in little pockets with labels for the company and the name of the stamps, and then divided by different themes. Those are refrigerator bins that I keep them in. I've lucked out really well because they fit perfectly for a cross. And this has been a great storage solution for my stamp for years. Right below that is where I have some of the ink that I use. I primarily use Distress Oxide ink. So I have these storage towers from scrapbook.com and have all my ink organized in rainbow color. And then sticking with the stamping zone as we work our way down in this drawer is where I have my ink blenders, my stamping platforms, the acrylic blocks, embossing tools, roller stamps, all of the different goodies that I use in various stamping projects, all located together. So that way, when I know I want to use stamping goodies, they are all located in one place. Like I said, zones, pretty important for just the efficiency and ease of how I craft. Love having that all together. Then in this bottom cabinet I have, it's kind of a little bit of some odds and ends. So I have my die cutting machine. I rarely use my metal dies, so that's why it's kind of put away down there. My Cricut heat press, there's my labeling tools, some printables, and then some extra storage for some pieces that I need for Patreon in upcoming months. So you can see it's really efficient. This is not the pretty stuff, which is why it's behind the cabinet doors, but it works really well for me. All right, we're getting into fun sticker zones, but before we get into the stickers, here are some basic tools that I use pretty frequently. We have scissors, my disc punch tool, and then just some extra goodies in here. That one's a little bit of a catch-all drawer. And we get into stickers. We have all the alpha stickers organized together. Very easy to find and look through. And then we have additional sticker sheets. These are going to be more scrapbooking stickers, thickers, things like that, that can be used for memory keeping, also in planning, but for memory keeping mostly. And those are all organized together as well. All right, as we get into the next bank of drawers, this is getting into mixed media land. So we have some smaller distress inks that I use primarily for blending. Neo colors, gelatos, media sticks, watercolors are all right here. And then some fun tools that I use for mixed media here in this top drawer. Then we're going to continue down and we will find alcohol inks, some fun markers. You'll find my jelly plates, extra paint brushes, all kinds of mixed media goodies in there. And then this one ends up being very functional with those ugly bits and pieces, but ones you need to have some different acrylic pours. We have my little, this is so fun. This is actually to hold eggs, but I think it works really well as a paint palette, and I have used it forever as a paint palette. All of the different Mod Podges and mixes and texture paste and all of that goodness that you use at different points. All of the tools that I need for mixed media all in one place. And like I said, it's kind of that mixed media zone, which flows into this cabinet, which also happens to be full of mixed media goodies. You can see this is where I have all of my sprays, my Dina Wakley paints, some of my specialty paints, some of my cheapo paints that I use for all kinds of random projects, all of my extra mixed media goodies all in one cabinet, easy to find. All right, and my last little bank of cabinets over here has to do with planning supplies because, of course, that's a big part of this particular craft room. These are some of the odds and ends. I have my micro notes, some extra stickers, things like that in the drawer. And then as you go underneath, this is going to be a lot of extra planner storage. Some of the overflow, some of the extra papers and supplies. I have all of my filler paper organized within these home edit bins. We have extra covers, extra discs, digging into extra dividers, some of the mini planners, and then some accessories, some smaller envelopes, some dividers, things like that. So all of the overflow, when I'm putting together my planner or when I'm wanting to change out sections of my planner, I come to this cabinet to kind of get some updates so I can shop my own stash, change out things with what I have, and feel like I got a whole new planner in the process. Next up, we have my craft desk, my filming area. This is actually a kitchen island, again, from Wayfair. I loved the color. I loved that. Again, it provided a little warmth against all of the white that I had going on in this room. It has some storage. So for instance, in the drawers, this is kind of my personal storage, you know, chapstick, the things you need right on hand. And then these are some of my most used tools, little bits and pieces in here. So just simple functional storage, but nothing that I'm gonna I don't know, you can't junk those up too much. I have other places to store things. Beneath, I have baskets. Those hold props for taking photos and doing flat lays. But this is just a wonderful big space that allows me to kind of spread out and work. I use 2 separate clip-on lights to add extra lighting to my videos. And then I attach, this is actually a phone holder that's meant to attach to the wall. I attached it to the ceiling and I use it to hold my phone in place for filming purposes. This has been a wonderful desk for me. It's the biggest workspace I've ever had. And I absolutely love it. And it's definitely been through the paces. It's got its, you know, scratches and nicks and things like that. But I think that just ends up adding more character to the overall piece. And like I said, look how pretty that wood is against all of the white. It's just, I love mixing in those pieces. I think it gives your space personality. Over to the side, this is why we are Memory Keeper's cart. It is a project tray cart, and it is what I use to stage different videos or different things I am working on. And it works out really well to have all of those different trays that I can move around really easily. And then once I've cleared that project, I can go ahead and put those supplies away. All right, we are almost done. We're working our way around. This is my washi wall and my stencil wall. So I have towel holders, towel bars that hold different stencils on hooks. Love that because it allows them to drip dry. It keeps the stencil safe. And then I use nail polish acrylic shelves. These are meant to hold nail polish. They work great for washi tape. I will let you know though, if you're looking for nail polish shelves, make sure you get ones that are at least 2 inches or more deep because a lot of them are pretty skinny and they won't hold all of your washi tape. But this is where I have all of my PET tape, all my washi tape. Again, it allows me to take advantage of vertical space. Keep in mind that I am about 6 feet tall, so I can totally reach the top. I know that is not the case for everyone, but it works well for me, so I definitely take advantage of vertical space. And then we move down, we have some more washi tape holders for specialty washi and seasonal washi. And then my card catalog, which was a vintage find years ago. I fell in love with it, had to have it. It is fabulous. And then my husband made this shelf for it to sit on so that it could be raised up just a bit. And that holds some extra journals and things like that. My acrylograph pens, my photo printer, all of that. What do I store in here? Well, all kinds of goodies. It's just like fabric bits. This one says warm embossing floss or embroidery floss. Sorry. Then we get into, for instance, buttons, because we all need a button drawer. You know what I mean? We have glitter, all the different glitters, decorative brads. It's just all of those little odds and ends that we have in our craft space that we just need little containers for. And the card catalog was kind of the perfect solution for that. As you can see, my craft studio is most certainly my happy place. It makes me smile every day. It inspires me when I come down here. And I feel so grateful to have the opportunity to have a space like this. And I'm so grateful to all of you who watch my YouTube videos because it's because of you that I was able to kind of grow into this space. So thank you so much for your continued support. It's obvious I have a passion for organizing and creativity and how the two definitely mesh together. In fact, we're spending the whole month of April in my Patreon group working through organization and decluttering and destashing and just spring cleaning in general in our creative spaces. It is not too late to join us over there. You can find more info on Patreon, all of the extra content and perks that you can receive. You can find that down in the description box below. Like I said earlier, if there are any goodies, any products in here that you are curious about where I pick them up, please let me know. I will search and help you find some of those links online, and I'll start to include those in the description box below as people ask. So be sure to check for those down there. All right. Thank you so much for all of your support. You all are the absolute best. I hope that all of you have a fabulous day. And as always, keep it creative.